Greetings. This is Walter D. Donnie Kennedy, Chief of Heritage Operations for the Sons of Confederate Veterans, and this is Commander's Comment for May 2021. And as always, I'm here with our Commander-in-Chief, Larry McClooney Jr. And Commander, it's good to see you again.
Good seeing you again, Donnie.
Well, let's jump right into something real positive. We've had some unique victories here in the last couple of weeks. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened in Arkansas, for example?
In Arkansas, they won their bid to preserve Confederate Flag Day. They've also gotten a monument protection bill passed.
Great.
But there are other states that are working on this as well. We've got Alabama's trying to increase the strength of theirs. Mississippi is trying to increase the strength of theirs. We've got West Virginia got one passed.
Yeah.
There was another state, wasn't it? Or was that the other one?
Louisiana. I think Georgia, we mentioned that.
Yes, Georgia.
Now, we discussed this in April's Commander's Comment, so if anybody wants to go back and look, they can see some more of what we talked about there. But we've also had a victory out in one of our other divisions where the military, National Guard, was trying to get rid of an individual because he had the audacity to be a member of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. Can you bring us up to speed on that?
Oh, well, it seems that the JAG for the National Guard and his unit and so forth said that due process was not given, and that all harassment, it basically becomes a harassment, a bullying situation. We're starting to see now that our federal government is targeting a lot of our servicemen, in a sense,
Right.
because they think just because they're members of the Sons of Confederate Veterans or whatever group they deem to be a security threat.
Right.
So, but that was a big victory there.
It is, and it's important that we talk about that because our people, our members, they didn't know that we're active, but they also need to know, how was that victory obtained? It wasn't obtained because the Sons of Confederate Veteran National Headquarters rode in on a white Charger and really messed everything up for the enemy. It was done by the camps and the division.
Right.
And kudos to the division commander there, and kudos to our member that refused to yield to the pressure of tyranny and fought back.
I agree.
Now, the Sons of Confederate Veterans, we were on top of this, and we had our judge advocate ready to go so that if they needed assistance from us, we could do it. But these things, just like what we're doing with the Confederate Legion, it has to start at the local level. So,
Can I highlight one more
Yes,
victory, Donnie? I want to highlight the Metcalf in Georgia when the permit was dropped about them having Confederate memorial service there at Stone Mountain. And yet they were persistent, and they, somewhere like close to 1,000 riders, rode through the Stone Mountain area, escorted by the police. They stopped, they prayed, they got back on their bikes, and they rode out.
And I've seen pictures of that, and it is very, very impressive. The Metcalf did a great job there, so we're on our way. Well, Commander, good victories there. I've just recently, believe I saw you this past weekend in Columbia, Tennessee, when we had our first annual Confederate Memorial Pilgrimage. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It is called our annual pilgrimage to Elm Springs and National Confederate Memorial Service. And like I said, it's an annual thing. So if you did not get a chance to attend this year, make plans for next year. We're going to try to have it always the first weekend in May. That way it gives an opportunity for the divisions to carry out their Confederate memorial services throughout April, because we know how busy that month is, Donnie.
Absolutely.
But we had somewhere approximately 400 in attendance. The gift shop did really, really well. I mean, $10,000+ weekend at the gift shop. A lot of people sent floral tributes. When I left, there was a lot of floral tributes still around the Jefferson Davis statue there.
That was beautiful. I'm going to ask you one or two things that really jumped out at you about the event that you might want to share with us.
Well, one thing is that The furthest attending member came all the way from California just to be there for that weekend.
Now, I spoke to one from Montana.
You did?
Yes, I did. I wish I could remember the gentleman's name, but I saw him at the hotel. He had an SCV T-shirt on, and we got to talking. And he said he was drove from Montana to be there. And of course, the commander of the California division was there, and a couple other people. So. And people need to realize we have sons of Confederate veterans members all over the United States. It's not just down south. Yes, our biggest concentration is down south, but even Illinois.
Europe. There's some in Europe.
Oh,
there's
absolutely.
some in Europe. There's members in Japan, believe it or not,
yes.
and Australia.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't realize that, of course, Southerners, we've spread all over the world, essentially, but all over the United States. There's a lot of places out west that were once known as Little Dixie because there were so many Confederate veterans had moved out there post-war.
I like to think we never surrendered. We just multiply.
Just keep multiplying. Well, I'm going to give you my two. I don't know, did you have another one, another point?
The other one was that how well people was just talking about that the event. They loved it. They loved the idea of the floral tributes. It gave them an opportunity, especially during these times of COVID. A lot of places they could not get out and honor their ancestor memorial service, and they thanked us. They thanked us for doing this national service.
Right. The honor guard needs to be thanked too. They did a great job. I had two things I want to bring up that really struck me. One was the presentation given by Michael Hardy, and I think he's from North Carolina.
North Carolina.
He did an excellent job on telling us our history, how we need to be involved at the local level. It got me to thinking. And I'm going to try to hold this up where people can see it. This is a booklet from Union Parish, Louisiana. And this talks about this young man who went off to war from that area. This is a history like Michael was talking about. We need to get this information out and be the resource people for the local area. That way we can really become known in the area. But this gentleman, to tell you about our men post-war, he became a leader in the banking industry in Louisiana after the war. Had one of the first banks started after the war in North Louisiana. He was a dedicated churchman, and he was first president of the executive board of the Louisiana Baptist Association. He was also Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Well, see, that goes back to what I was trying to say. Our men, the soldiers, when the leaders, when the war was over with and they asked them to go home and be good citizens, they took it to heart. They became very productive. We had so many former, well, you can't say former Confederates,
right,
but soldiers that went on to high levels of government,
right,
served in their states.
Right.
A lot of them, believe it or not, let's talk about General Beauregard becoming a civil rights leader in a sense.
Exactly. Well, Forrest was a civil rights.
Exactly.
And that just blows the liberals right out of the water when you tell them that Forrest was an advocate of civil rights.
Well, you know, the old saying, you tell a lie enough and long enough, it becomes truth.
Right. To some people. The other thing that really got my attention was past Commander-in-Chief Chuck McMichael's presentation. He brought up the fact about the laurel wreath that is presented, and of course he said it goes back in Western civilization to the Greco-Roman era, where laurel wreaths were given to heroes and victors, and he made the notation after the war, our Confederate veterans were treated as the heroes that they were. And if you look on a Confederate tombstone right now, the cross, you see in the center,
around the cross.
There's a laurel wreath right in there. So we are still paying tribute, and it goes back to Western civilization, to the Greeks and the Romans. And I thought that was very good. Chuck McMichael and Michael Hardy, they both did a great job. Of course, Chuck is, I may add, from Louisiana, as if everybody don't already know that. Now, you mentioned this is an annual event. When I got on my Facebook and started posting pictures of the event, one of the most common response I got was, I wished I had been there, or sorry I missed that. So I quickly responded. I said, well, luckily it's an annual event. We'll see you next year.
Yeah.
And I believe that is correct, Commander.
And it goes right back. Read your veteran. It's been in the veteran for several issues, a whole page promoting this.
That's right. Now, while April, of course, is the month that we celebrate Confederate Heritage. We do it every day, but the special month for us is April. There are other events going on around the Confederation. I'm going to just pat myself on the back. My camp's back. Our camp and the Monroe camp, the West Monroe and Monroe SCV camp, along with several other SCV camps in North Louisiana, put on flags across the Ouachita, where we literally go. The Ouachita River is a major river going through North Louisiana. It empties into the Black, into the Red, into the Mississippi. Now you know where it is. So we line the bridge there and wave Confederate flags. 97% of the people coming across that bridge at rush hour, they are blowing their horns, thumbs up. We occasionally get people who show us their IQ by one digit, but it's so very infrequent. We don't even think about it. The vast majority of people are very pleased about this. And this goes back to what we've been saying in the Confederate Legion. We've got to get our information out to John Q. Public so those people will remain on our side. This month, this past 2 weeks here, I have bought ads for the Confederate Legion and the Confederate Legion is an SCV sponsored operation. And so this is SCV ads that we're putting in radio stations in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, North Carolina, and I believe we got some coming up in Virginia. Now, when I tell people that, they say, well, how come you don't have any in my state? Well, it's probably because no camp in your state has contacted us and say, we want to buy some airtime. Can you help us? And I say, as long as the money is there, we will help you.
All they got to do is want to do it and reach out to you.
There you go, and we will do it. It's a volunteer organization. I wish I could say I'd have my secretary get right back to you, but I am my own secretary.
Well, think about the huge recruiting this would do for those local areas.
Absolutely. And what it does, it warms the waters of recruitment. And you may not run an ad and get people rushing to your organization, but when you see them on the streets, when you do special events, they say, oh, I heard your ad. I'm interested now.
That's right.
So, well, folks, that's part one of what month are we in now? May. My goodness, this year is slipping by. Part one of May's Commander's Comment. We'll be back shortly with part two of May 2021 Commander's Comment.